Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And, man, if you can't talk about batteries and feel charged, something wrong with you. So I feel, now that I've found a battery that weighs 20 pounds, I thought all batteries weighed 50 or more. When
yeah, well, I'm too frail to be lifting 50, 60-pound batteries.
Yeah, it depends on what you had for eat the night before. I know you, Ron Wonk, and the folks recognize that voice. And Frank Barton, we've worked you in here, Frank, because we want you to hear some of these things, and appreciate Frank coming up. And I'm going to let Frank introduce the next segment because he always does the FM voice. Right, Frank?
I can handle it if you want me to.
Yeah, you're going to do the last one, but hey, this one doesn't need an introduction. She's been on the show before. My goodness, her involvement in professional fishing goes back several years. We're not talking about age or anything like that, but anybody that's a 2015 inductee to the Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame, you can't get much bigger than that. And who knows what's going on with the FLW better than Kathy Fennell. She's Executive Vice President, GM for the FLW. And Kathy, good morning.
Good morning, and thank you all. It's great to be on the show with you, Larry and Frank and Ron. I'm thrilled to be invited back, and I always appreciate the opportunity.
Well, let's talk. We all know these are trying times. We're going to get through it and things along that line. But as a VP and General Manager for FLW, a lot of things are happening here, Kathy, and you've got to do a lot of juggling. You're almost part of a circus act now, juggling things around. So talk about that once this all broke in March and all the things you guys have had to do. How's it been?
Well, it's like you said. I said the other day, we've been scrambling, we've been juggling. I think you're exactly right. When the news first started coming out, then obviously we tried to be conservative and just only move, a couple of weeks worth of events. But then as more news came on, then we realized we were going to have to postpone and keep pushing that date some. And so we've done that a couple of times since. Our latest postponements run us through. We're hopeful, very hopeful, and yes. Obviously we'll just adhere to whatever comes the way. But to be able to start back at the end of May. But in all total, that means that 61 events that we've had to reschedule. Wow. And so, as you can imagine, a lot going on here.
It takes 3 pages to even print out where the tournaments are now.
I know.
I didn't want to waste ink and put them all down, but because you've got so many divisions. How many? You got 5? How many divisions you got?
Well, we have our Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, and
all
then
right.
we have the Toyota Series,
okay.
and then we have Phoenix Bass Fishing League, and then we have our Abu Garcia College Fishing, and then we have our high school circuit. So
that's as many fingers
circuits.
as I've got. That's on that one hand. That's 5. And so when it all came about, the scramble had to start. And I know you've been involved in this business for a number of years. And you're one of those go-to people for me and other ones out there. I guess a lot of phone work, I've discovered Zoom lately, FaceTime, things along that line. So are you in quarantine as we speak?
Well, we are, everyone is working remotely
yes.
for the most part. All of our folks are, and thank goodness for technology and all those things that, we really didn't pay that much attention to before, but Zoom, and we have a great tool that we use called Teams, and so it truly does. It allows us, not that you can't do things just on a conference call, but it makes all the difference when you can see one another,
yes.
And be able to react that way. And so those are great tools that have helped us through these challenging times.
Well, Ron, I know we've been involved and known Kathy for many, many years and know that when you're dealing with so many different things, the logistics, the technology, your magazine, the TV show.
The magazine's free.
Yeah, well, there you go, Ron. I knew you throw that in there. But it's not
Thank you, Ron.
It is not just fishing we're talking about here. I mean, because you've got a lot of logistics. You got a lot of places that have bid and wanted these tournaments. It affects not only the anglers, but the thousands of people that are part of this family.
Well, absolutely. All of the local tourism places that depend on hotel bookings and restaurants, that depend on that, gas stations, all of that, there is a huge, huge ripple effect that a lot of people don't realize. And I know Kathy has to work with all of these tourism departments and those kind of people. It's not an easy thing. But, one of the things I noticed that FLW is trying to do is they're trying to make it happen, and they're making it happen in a great way. For example, in July, I believe it was, they have every year scheduled a high school instructional event that they put together for high school kids to enter. Well, because of the current situation, they have now said that has been canceled. But in 3 of the upcoming Tackle Warehouse Pro Series, they're going to offer that some of the curriculum for free for high school students. Is that not correct, Kathy?
That is correct. We host an annual high school fishing camp each year and use Murray State as our headquarters and housing.
Right.
And because we're not going to be able to do that, we said, well, instead we'll do 3 one-day camps and put those in conjunction with the tournaments.
Great idea.
We're all hopeful we'll be able to proceed on with those, and just an opportunity to make that free then to all high, because everybody, we're all dealing with a lot right now, and so I think that anything that we can all do to give back and to try to offer opportunities in these circumstances is all a good thing.
And so
I'm hoping to go to Dardanelle to cover that tournament and that event for the high school kids there.
Lake
that would be so good.
Yeah, that's in God's country. We got to get you over there, Ron. Hopefully. And I know, Kathy, we're looking at then, before we let you go, so we're looking, hopefully, the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit at Lake Hartwell, May 28th through 31st. That's our, hopefully the next restart,
that's
so
correct.
to speak?
That's correct. That's what we're hoping.
Well, we hope it so, too, and I know it's trying times for you. I know none of us have been through anything like this before. We really appreciate you keeping us up to date on all the events and everything. And I know Joe does a great job, but stay safe, stay at home. I think I'm hunkered down in Germantown. I guess you're hunkered down in Benton, Kentucky, right? So
that's right.
Well,
yes.
Now, sometimes I'd rather be hunkered down in Benton, Kentucky than here, but that's the way it is. Thank you for taking time with us, Kathy Fennell. We appreciate you, okay?
Thank you, and thank you for all that y'all do to keep us all informed out there. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll talk to you. All right.
All righty.
Okay. All right. All right. Now, I know that, the situations that we have, and Frank, I was thinking about the local business people. We've been talking a lot about restaurants and things along that line. As far as what you're having to do in cutbacks and things, kind of talk a little bit about from the business standpoint, like Indian Motorcycle, you've cut back some hours. We got, you've got different situations. I don't know what's going on with Barton Power Sports in Forest City and Wynn and those places. And I know your repair thing, Kubota down the road in Marion. So, what decisions have you had to make?
Well, the first thing is I haven't laid anybody off, and I haven't let anybody go.
Good. That's good for you,
I've
Frank.
been able to keep everybody that was working for me when all this started is still working for me now, and I'm fortunate that I've been able to keep everybody. So that's and the only reason why we changed hours was because that's what the customers actually did that. I mean, people were were just
right.
getting
out.
So they were the ones that kind of made that, and it also made things easier. It's a stressful time for everybody.
It is. Yeah.
I had just a quick story. I had when this thing first started, it was in the middle of spring break for a lot of people, a lot of families. I had one employee who took his family. They had a trip planned, and they went to Spain.
Oh, my. Yeah.
And he was in Spain when all this blew up, came back, and then stayed home. I told him to stay home for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What we were being guided to do. And so that left me shorthanded. And what do you do when what does the boss do when it's shorthanded?
The boss has to work.
He just rolls up his sleeves and goes. And so I manned my parts and service counter for what was going to be originally was going to be 1 week when he was gone, and it ended up being 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
The week that he was gone, and the 2 weeks that he came back.
So is he back yet?
Yes, he's back. He's been on the. He's been, and everything's fine. Fortunate that I haven't had any employees come down being sick.
Right.
I've had some family members of some employees that have become sick.
So that knocks them out. I mean,
and then
quarantine.
But nobody, nobody here. So
well, that's where I want. So they can go for information on Barton Power Sports. Where can they go for information on
you
hours?
go to the website, bartonpowersports.com.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to find what's going on.
All right.
You can look us up on Facebook at Barton Power Sports at the locations that we got, or you can just give us a call. We still answer our own telephone. You don't get an automatic attendant when you call me. You get
a live person. Okay, all right. Well, we got to take a break. Anyway, that's Frank will be there at 8:00 this morning on Mount Moriah. What's that address again, Frank?
5715 Mount Moriah Road.
Cool things over there. All right, let's take a break. Come right back, wrap up the show. It's the fastest 90 minutes in the outdoor radio program. Ron Wong, Frank Barton, Shelby McCall, and it's old me still right here. We'll be right back.